See, man, I'm not into all the uppity, extra fancy bullshit food restaurants that a lot of people are into. I consider myself a simple man. Chicken strips, burgers, give me a good barbecue plate. The fanciest I'll go is Cheesecake Factory for some pasta. After watching this movie, yeah, I stand on that fact immediately. Alrighty, what's going on with you all today? Is your boy K Fisher the Fish Flicks here today. We're gonna be sitting here talking about the latest movie that just recently dropped called The Menu. I went and watched this a couple days ago. Now here we are, finna drop this review for you all. And let's start with the plot for this movie. Now the plot for this movie basically goes by, it's about a group of people who go off to this remote island for this fine dining experience that costs about 1,200 per person, I believe it said within the film, where they think they're going to go off to this remote island and think they're going to have experienced a fine dining experience that only few people can actually be able to experience. And only to their surprise, once they get there, oh, yeah, it's going to be something that very, very few can experience. In particular, only this group of cast and characters. Now, I want to start off by saying I didn't watch a trailer for this movie at all. If I did, maybe I'd watch it in a theater where I'm forced to watch the trailers there. Because I went into this movie knowing nothing about the film whatsoever. I didn't. I thought it was just going to be a simple like foodie porn type film. Because my boy Johnny, shout out to him, he hit me up asking me if I saw the trailer for it. And me in general, I just don't watch trailers for movies like that anymore. I don't. I like to go in there with a fresh mindset, going in clean, not knowing what to expect, and just being able to have that experience like I'm actually within the film with that cast and crew of characters that are there in the dining hall. And for that reason, I'm very glad that I didn't watch any trailers for this movie and I went in so fresh and so clean because, man, whew, I was not prepared for the shit that happened in this movie at all. I was not. This movie was nothing that I expected it to be at all. And for that, I loved this movie. I really did. I loved this movie, man, because it is very weird. It is shocking. There's some twists and turns all throughout. And man, the one thing that I got to start off with when you talk about the positives for this movie is that 90% of this movie takes place in one setting. And if you're able to pull that off within a film, that means right there that you've got something special because you have something so contained and you have it within an intimate type of setting and deal. And so with that, I think that's what really made this movie so much more effective and it hit for people because it took place mainly in one setting. And man, overall, I want to start with some of the cast and crew members, in particular the actors, the lead, the chef played by Ralph Fiennes. He was fucking phenomenal in this movie. He was, and it really makes you question like his character. Like, am I supposed to root for him? Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Like, what is it about him, man? He's a bit of a egotistical type chef who really like lures all these people in to this restaurant. And I'm not gonna spoil anything about the movie whatsoever because I'm shocked to have to say this, but I only do reviews that are non-spoiler. If I do talk spoilers within a review, you'll see the label on said video, spoiler review. So there are going to be no spoilers. I want everybody to go into this film clean. So I'm not going to spoil it all. I want you to be able to experience for yourself as well. But man, his character as a chef in this film, man, he made sense in a lot of aspects of the film. He was outright scary. And the reason why I say scary sometimes because he has his crew of chefs that he brought together, and they all are in unison. Like whenever he gets their attention, they all say it like equally at the same time, "Yes, chef." And then with this film, it's very much a thriller with some horror comedy vibes throughout. Because there are some good use of like clapping that are like jump scares. So whenever the chef wants to get their attention, he claps. And then you like really feel that when you're watching this film because you're like, I don't know what's going to happen, what's going to come next within the film all throughout. And more into the positives with this film that really worked for me is that all the meals were front and center all throughout, and they all have a reason and purpose for why they're being used within the film and what's going to take place all throughout. And they all have it front and center, and with each meal, it was like multiple courses of meals all throughout, and they give you a bit of a description of the meal and title it in a way as well, and which I thought was really fascinating to me. I really did. It really does have you immersed. It's like for me when I went into this film clean, like I was really immersed, like I was actually in the restaurant with them, because I was damn near scared myself. Like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen next? Like, what does this meal contain? Like, what are we doing here? What is the purpose of it all? Because they're thinking, the crew and the cast, they're all thinking like they're just gonna sit there, eat some foods that they never had before, and really just be and have something special come their way when it comes to these meals. And boy, oh yeah, it is special, all right. Yeah, you do feel the specialness and the uniqueness of it, but not to their expectations. No. Because you have a unique, different sets of people. Whether you got like these eccentric billionaires, food critics, filmmakers, all different types of people all throughout, and they're really there for a specific reason. And you go on and learn throughout the film that this is all a meticulous plan and set up for a reason, and everything that's happening all throughout this one night in the restaurant for a very much of a reason. And I really did love that about the film as well. Going back into Ralph Fiennes, I want to talk about Miss Anya Taylor-Joy as well, because she was great in the film as well. And whenever those two characters are standing face to face or just sitting there talking to each other, you just feel the tension all throughout between these two characters and what connects them in some sort of way. So whenever they were just standing there face to face, like you just really felt it, like, oh no, like what is going on? Like, what is it about this young lady that Ralph Fiennes is really sitting there just staring at her and just questions her about? And then you get to learn more about that all throughout the film and why he is so somewhat connected to her and is very interested in her. Because there's some pretty shocking twists and turns all throughout the film that you learn about, and it is very interesting. Also, Mr. Nicholas Hoult in the film, he was great in the film because he was this big like fanboy chef of all the foods that he makes, so he thinks he knows everything. And that's something about this film too that I want to tap into, is that there is some good use of social commentary all throughout the film. In particular when it comes to food, because you have like these food critics all throughout within the film, and then it's like with Ralph Fiennes' character, it's kind of to where he has them all together, and it's like you think you know everything you know. Haha, let me show you how it actually is done, since you want to be a critique and like critic all my stuff and whatnot. And so there's aspects of that. And all the characters all throughout the film were very interesting as well. Because they were all uniquely and so different and were brought there for a unique reason. It really was, and I really did appreciate that about the film as well. And going back into the social commentary, since I'm going all over the place, is that it is a movie about obsession and one that's obsessed in one's own work. And then there is some commentary about, you got some people who think that they can just do whatever they want and go about themselves and do certain things without certain consequences and think they're consequence free. But no, but then they come faced in the face of their decisions, that they do face some consequences. So I did enjoy that about the film as well, man. I really, really did. And this film was a very interesting watch, especially when you go into a film like this, very much clean, which I recommend. Actually recommend maybe holding back on watching trailers for some movies, just so you can be able to have and gain an experience like I did watching this film, going in clean, not knowing what to expect, and just being able to experience all throughout the film, and not knowing what's going to happen next. Because a lot of the times with trailers nowadays, and why I don't watch trailers as much, is that studios, they'll just send the films out to trailer houses and just be like, hey, go make a trailer for me. And then they won't have really notes or anything. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And then the trailer houses, they'll just form these film trailers together, and it basically spoils the film from beginning, middle, and end. And so, with being able to go into this film completely fresh and clean, it made the film that much better for me and watching it, experiencing it, because you really do have that experience of sitting there, watching the film, and being able to be immersed into the restaurant and everything that is continuously going on, man. So overall, I really enjoyed the hell out of this movie. This might end up in my top 10 films of the year for me. And ranking out of 5, I'm going to give this movie a 4.5 out of 5 on the K-Fish scale. Absolutely, man. And really quickly before we go, I do want to say, like, there was a lot of good witty dialogue all throughout that had my audience in the theater laughing throughout the film, because there was some moments of just some decisions when it came to the food and what the chef was doing, and having some of the customers that were there in the restaurant do as well. That was pretty funny. And it's like, because he's such like an egomaniac in a way, and the things that he says and the actions that he takes, it is all the more funny just because of who he is and the way he goes about himself. But overall, man, this is a damn good film. I highly recommend it. Go out and watch this film in the theater and really go get that experience for yourself, man. Absolutely highly recommended for you all. But thank you all for being here with me today, talking about this film, The Menu. Cannot wait to be sitting here talking more films with you all today. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button right down there below. Go ahead and support, turn on the bell so you can get notified of whenever I do have more videos coming out, because I will be dropping out more stuff constantly throughout the weeks. And man, overall, you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you all soon.